This is the Mobile Marketing Minute with your hosts, Rob Woodbridge and Greg Hickman.
This is the Mobile Marketing Minute, and my name is Rob.
And I'm Greg.
All right, you know what? I get inundated with coupons. Any kind of incentives that come through mobile. They land on my desktop. They land on my mobile, my smartphone inside of apps. Do these things work? What is the good? What is the bad? What is the ugly? Should people be doing this to drive incentive, to drive people to their stores?
Here's the answer. It depends. So they work. I mean, I've seen them work. I've seen them not work. They don't work when you don't have a reason as to why you're doing it, and you don't have a strategy that makes sense on the back end from a financial perspective. I would tell you that the reason that you continue to get deals from Target, Macy's, JCPenney, all of the brands that use SMS, they would not be doing it if it didn't work. Like they have smart enough people in place and enough resources to know if these are converting to the point where they should keep doing it. And I get a text message from them every week. So, I guarantee you it works. But, for someone that doesn't have the strategy, yeah, it might not work. But I think the biggest thing about this topic always comes down to, well, if I want to do I don't want to do coupons. I'm not a discounter. They don't want to discount products. And that was my previous experience. Cabela's is not a discounter. They don't send out coupons. They do sales and they do promotions, but they're slightly different, especially in the vernacular within that organization. So I think the real challenge is knowing it's so effective. How does a business leverage something like that if they are not a discounter? And I think the inherent obstacle is that out of the gates, when we say incentive, everyone thinks of dollar off, percentage off, or free. But incentive doesn't need to be monetary. You can have non-monetary incentive that's just as valuable, right? You could have exclusivity. So only people through this mobile channel will get this awesome stuff that nobody else gets. So the value of being a part of this mobile alerts group is because you get first dibs on something, early bird access, extra time. It doesn't have to be dollars off. It doesn't have to be monetary. So I think that's where some of the I hate to say it, lack of creativity comes in. That's why agencies exist. That's why mobile consultants exist, because you need to get creative at that point. What do you do? What value can you create for your user that's not tied to dollars off? It could be experiential. I think early access, exclusivity, and experiential things are in some cases way more valuable to a consumer than dollars off. So it depends on what your goal is with that campaign, but there is ways to incentivize people without giving away money.
Do you offer different types of incentives or different levels of incentives depending on the medium? So we talk about mobile web being kind of transient, but the app being much more fixed or much more brand loyal. So would you kind of do that on a scale from web to mobile web to app?
I think that depends as well on what your objectives are with each of those channels. But I would try to have some level of consistency for sure. From what I've seen and, in my conversations with other people that are managing campaigns for some big brands, from a dollars off perspective, typically under $20 is what converts the best. But at the same time, it's also think about how you can leverage a coupon to actually create incremental lift in something like your average order value. So this is what we focused on. And a lot of retailers focus on this. So if let's just say for the sake of example, your average order value is $100 when someone comes into a store, right? You could do something like when you use this mobile coupon, save $20 when you spend $150 or more, right? So people are like, well, now I'll just spend a little bit more money. So what ends up actually happening is, so the average order value increases because say they spend $150, right? Because they want that deal. but then we give them 20, we net out at 130. We've increased the value of the average order by $30 per person, and we've self-funded the promotion. So like when you're at a big retailer, you have to like get approval for budgets, like, or discounts. Like there's like, we had a discount team. Like, hey, can I potentially discount this much? And we would need to allocate $75,000 for discounts. Well, yeah, you still allocate that budget, but you're actually self-funding it by doing the math appropriately, and you can come out on top. And the customer sees value, you get the return, and you have less people redeem it, but you're adding $30 per average order. So like when you start adding that by 20,000 customers, it could start adding up.
That is a great strategy. That is an incredible strategy.
That's my favorite. That's like my favorite use case of SMS. I mean, you could do it on push too, but I just love like there's no way to argue that you should not try that. No. Like I don't see how you.
We'll make $1.30 for every dollar you put in. That's exactly what it's saying.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Don't forget to come back next week for our next episode.